does. A warm good evening to all of you. Sir, I would like to share my screen for the PPT if it is possible.
Yes, ma'am. It's possible.
Yeah. Arshil, should I do entire screen or window beta? Okay, I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, the topic for today is multiple intelligences and learning styles. As we are approaching to a new norm, that is introducing of new educational policy in our academic also. This is asking for holistic development of a child. Well, yes, holistic grooming is very, very essential for any child. As we say, or we've heard the previous psychologists saying that, every child is unique. Every child has a uniqueness of his own or her, they have their own dominance, they have their own expertise. So it is we as educators, we as teachers, we as counselors, it is our duty to recognize what they are good at. And that is possible only when we observe them in class or when the child is interacting with us. And that is how we can give them a holistic shape, a holistic grooming. Well, to begin with, we begin with multiple intelligences. Now, multiple intelligences refer to theory describing the different ways a student can learn or acquire knowledge. Yes, every student, as I said, is unique. They all have different ways of learning. They all look out for different things. Some of them do it with research, some of them do it with exploring, some of them do it in a poetic way, some of them express it in words. It's all very different. But the only thing is they need to acquire knowledge. Some intelligences are inherited, some are learnt in the lifespan. Yes, we can see that there are qualities in children which have been in their ancestors also, their parents also. Sometimes the same qualities are inculcated in the child also. And there are certain things that the child learns it from the surrounding, from the peer interaction, from the teachers around him or her. This theory of multiple intelligences was given to us by Howard Gardner. He said that there are 8 types of multiple intelligences. We have linguistic, we have kinesthetic, we have spatial, we have musical, naturalistic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, logical. Well, we will be doing all of them in detail. Okay. To begin with, we start with the linguistic, that is language smart. Now, a child could be very good with language. The child must be picking up languages very fast. That's a grasping level of a child. You tell him, okay, you need to learn this language and debate on it, or you have to put up some words in this particular language, listen to this language for some time. Children are very good at picking up and grasping things. Maybe the child is very good with it. He will pick up the grammar very fast, pronunciations very fast, the verbal things will be very good and nice. He will be able to express himself with words and communication skills, writing skills, understand what others speak, capacity to use the language. You understand others and you're able to make others understand what you have to say. Now that is what is called linguistic smart. जब हम अपनी बात किसी तक पहुंचा सकते हैं और दूसरे की बात हम समझ सकते हैं, उसी को हम linguistic smart कहते हैं. We have intrapersonal, that is knowing oneself. Knowing oneself यानी कि हम अपने आप से पहचान करते हैं. Someone who likes to explore himself, someone who likes to know himself better. He likes to stay aloof from others. वो ग्रुप में नहीं काम करना चाहता, वो अकेले से अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी बनाते हैं. They work on their own. And according to their own strategy, they start working on the projects that they have to do. Their total focus is on how they might feel if the particular project is not done in this way. What will happen if this particular thing is not going to get achieved? So everything is surrounded to himself, herself over there. But that doesn't mean that child is not smart enough. Only thing is, he's away from a group activity. He does not like to do it in a mass. He likes to do it alone. So, and he likes to focus on it. So such children are intrapersonal. interpersonal, that is connecting with others. Now there are some children in the class also we see कि उनको ना अकेले बैठ के काम करने में मजा नहीं आता, वो एक ग्रुप बना के बैठते, they make a small group, they work in group, they connect with strangers, make new friends, they like to socialize, share ideas, they're comfortable with unknown people also, they show empathy to others. Then they initiate to lead from front. They involved in team sports and group activities. There is a lot of team spirit in them. They motivate people to join in the activities and take part, have 100% participation. They do everything for it. So they enjoy learning it in that way. Then we have musical intelligence, awareness and sensitivity to music, rhymes, tunes, melody. Now, there are children who do it in this form also. Well, I'll share a small example. I had a school friend of mine who used to be very good at singing, classical singing, and she used to write lovely poems. At that time, we did not know if these type of things were also there, like, multiple intelligences, and what she's doing is one of the intelligences then that she has it in her. At that time we used to make fun of her and say, what you do all this, you take the notes and you start musically rhyming them and you learn it in that way. But she used to do it very well, she used to enjoy that. So that is how she picked up in these subjects and excelled with her studies. At that time, we did not know that it was musical intelligence in her that was very strong, and that is how she was using it, expertising it with her learning also. So, we see children in class at times when there's a music going on, or, there's some rhyming scheme going on, they tap their heels, they snip their fingers. That means they're interested in music. They understand the beats. So these are small things, that we can observe in the class to help the child, to guide the child to understand what he's good at, what his strength is, and how he can make it even more stronger for him to excel within holistic grooming. We come to naturalistic, selfless, or nature loving. Now, nature loving, it could be the nature, the trees, plants, pets, animals, birds, environment around us, everything covers with nature in it. Those such children who are there, they love going on hiking, mountain climbing, camping. They have very adventurous things in mind. They like to explore new places, go out, eat on different food joints, visit new cities, visit new hill stations, see what is good there, see the folk over there, see the culture, tradition, and they collect things on that. And now that is being naturalistic. You love the environment the way it is. You like to explore that environment for yourself. So that is a way of learning. Now, in class also, we find many such children. When we say we are going out for a field trip, we are going for a picnic or excursion, children are too excited, and out of them, there'll be a handful of them who will make a checklist. Ma'am, will we see these monuments? They would have already explored on what things are available in that particular place where we are going. What are the things that we need to see, the sites we need to cover, and what is the speciality over there? Everything will be there in their checklist. And then, they'll come and ask us, ma'am, हम लोग ये चीज देखने चलेंगे ना? Ma'am, I've heard वहां पर ऐसा खाना मिलता है, वहां पर ना ये वाला फोक डांस होता है, ये एक मॉन्यूमेंट है, ये एक फोर्ट है. So that is excitement, the children go with the zeal. So we need to admire those things in the child. We need to appreciate such skills also in a child. Then we come to logical intelligence, that is ability to quantify, reason, or ability to calculate. Now, children who are very good with science, maths, experiments, computers, they fall in this category. At times, we come across children who ask too many questions in the class. They need a reason, they need a logic for everything that we do in the class. They come. If I say something, they'll say, ma'am, why like this? Why did you do it like this? Could you explain me? I'm not satisfied. They have lots of questions. You answer one, the next is ready with them. You answer that, the third is ready with them. You know, to satisfy and convince such children is a big journey for us at times. Discussion on right and wrong. Yes, they do discuss. They like to prove things, you know. Okay, prove it. Convince me that this is right. I'm not satisfied. But at times, what happens when we are short of time, we suppress such children in class. We say, enough of questions, don't ask anything more, beta. This is what will be answered. You know, we are suppressing, but actually, when they are asking more questions, that means they are brainstorming, you know, they're using their higher thinking skills. We need to appreciate that, not suppress them with it. They love strategic games, solve pattern puzzles, you know, they're very good at such things. Where brainstorming is required, where their minds have to really storm hard, they enjoy such things, high order thinking skills. Then we have spatial intelligence, that is connecting with colors, shapes, speed, and distance. Now they can visualize things, think in pictures to build and assemble, especially children who like to get into a career where, you know, creativity is involved, artistic designs are involved. Such children enjoy such things, you know, photography, video editing, graphic presentations, then, you know, maps, all these things, you know, looking at the objects, giving them a pictorial description, and, you know, filling up colors with them. Now see, when we have children like doing architecture, interior designing, you know, those children have this flair for it actually. So when they are into that creative mode, they want to imagine things and design them in an artistic way, work on such objectives with colors, shapes. Those children have spatial intelligence. We have kinesthetic intelligence, that is fine motor skills and gross motor skills. Now our kinesthetic skill is divided into two, refers to sense of timing and coordination. Okay, learn by doing and exploring, enjoy outdoor activities, indulge in sports activities and dance, burn out energy with physical activities, enjoy writing, chopping. So when we're talking of fine motor skills, that is, you know, writing skills come over there, chopping something, no, those are fine motor skills, how we do chopping, how we do writing. Then when we talk about gross motor, it is dancing, exercise, physical activities, sports, all these come under gross motor skills. So when children enjoy these kind of things, so we tell them that they are kinesthetic intelligent. Now we come to learning styles. Now when we have done so many of multiple intelligences, see, we all have all of them in us. Okay, there are all the 8 multiple intelligences in all of us, but some are very strong for us, some are very low for us. We need to identify the stronger one and work on it to make it the strength for holistic learning. In the same way, we have different learning styles also. See, what are learning styles? A set of factors or behaviors, okay, attitudes and adaptations that facilitate learning and concept understanding for an individual. How we grasp up a concept. Now, there is something taught in the class, how I take it for myself, how well I can understand it. Did I understand the way ma'am was teaching me while her verbal speech about the concept? Or was it due to the diagrams and the presentations that she gave me, I understood it much better? Or was it due to an activity that she asked me to do in the class? Was that more comfortable for me to understand? So there are different ways that a child takes it, you know. There are, why learning styles are important. Every individual is unique, as we said. They follow different patterns and methods to remember their learnings. It is easy for them to connect the learning with their way of learning. For example, you need to prepare a speech. You will write it down and read it a few times. These days, there's another way. It is put forward in a way of PPT. Another example, when my daughter was in 10th, you know, she had to remember many characters from a novel for exams. So she used to make it, you know, that time when she was doing her 10th, they had this novel of Gulliver Travels. And in 9th standard and 10th standard, she had Helen Keller. So there were so many characters in both the novels. What she used to do is make a character sketch of everything. Then she used to make us sit in front of her and she used to narrate all the character sketches in the form of a storyline to us. So her way of learning was narration. She used to narrate it to us, and when she was narrating it to us, we were her audience. We used to listen to it, and she used to, like, take it inside, and she used to remember it much better. And Hindi, she was totally opposite. She used to like me reading it for her, and she used to listen to the complete chapter that was read to her, and she used to absorb. So, there are different styles. Even subject wise, the style might differ for a child, of learning. So, we need to make a note of all these little things. And if we can really do all these things in the class, we can help the children to groom themselves in a much better way, in a much better and strong future. Now, when we talk about the types of learning styles, we have visual learning style, we have auditory, we have read and write, we have kinesthetic. Now, when we are talking about visual, it is when we see things. We have charts, we have graphs, we have graphic organizers, we have lesson outlines, we have picture aids, we have PowerPoints. No, all these are visual. Sometimes we see short videos. These days, the children are used to YouTube channels. They go to YouTube, they look out for the chapters on YouTube, see the videos, and many of them grasp it through that. The best example is my own son. He's in 10th right now, and he does his study with this. He goes to YouTube channels, he looks at different YouTubers, and then accordingly he makes his own notes, he makes his own references, and he studies. So this is where he's comfortable with. I had a child with me who was in 12th, and she used to do it everything with graphic presentations. Every chapter had a graphic presentation. She used to draw like a family tree of that complete chapter and then study. So that was her way of doing it. So, it's a very different way of studying every child has. There are children who learn through auditory, that is, read aloud. They like to read it aloud so that the same voice can hit back into their minds, and that will sink into their heads, and they will remember in their memory powers. Then they have listening centers, they have verbal instructions, discussions, repeat to a friend. As I mentioned you that my daughter repeated her complete character sketches to us, and that was one way of learning it also. So this is how everybody has a very different way of learning the concepts, of grasping the knowledge that they want. We have read and write. Now we can read books, texts, dictionaries. Through that we can do. Then write. Now, best thing is these days, what children do. As a counselor, I tell my students also, many of them come to me and tell me, ma'am, we don't remember the maths formulas. We don't remember the physics equations and formulas. We don't remember the periodic table very well. So how do we remember it? Sometimes we get stuck in between. So what I tell them is, make small chits, make a soft board in front of your study table, wherever you study regularly. Just have a pin board over there, soft board. And in small chits, write all these in one periodic table, in one maths formulas, in physics equations and formulae. Put it over there. So whenever you have a free time, you have 10 minutes as a break, just every day make it a point that 3 to 4 times you see those chits on your bulletin board. Just go on reading them. See.
Hello, I think network issue.
Yeah, is it okay, sir, now?
Yes,
Fine?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So sorry. So when we are doing, see, when you had made the chits, you did note making, right? You made notes for yourself. So while making the notes, you had understood the concept very clearly. So then you have put the chits over there. Now you can read them. So read and write. You wrote them, you were able to understand, then you keep reading them every day. So that is going to have a recap in your mind, and every day when you revise it, you will never forget it. So that is how it is, read and write. Now then we come to kinesthetic way of learning. It is an incorporate body movement, tactile, touch, feel, hands-on. best example for kinesthetic learning, we can have of Helen Keller. She used to touch things, she used to feel things and learn because she was blind, she could not speak, she could not hear. So her teacher, Mrs. Sullivan, used to make her feel things, touch things, and accordingly educate her. And that was beautifully done. If you happen to go through that book of Helen Keller, the story of her life, you will come to know how kinesthetic things also help us to learn. It is very important. So it really makes us understand things in that particular form also. So that's how, and kinesthetic way, like, if you have motion, force, chapters like this, if you're taking children to the ground and making them do some activities, that is also kinesthetic only. Children will learn it in a much better way, and they will relate those activities with what the concept you've taught them. So, it's easy for them to remember with such things. So try to inculcate these things in the class every day. If you're trying to do all these things, I think we can really come out with a very holistic grooming approach towards the students now. And anyway, the NEP is giving us this liberty of using all these things as teaching aids now. So we can always integrate these things in the classroom and come out with better results and give children a better future. Well, my PPT ends over here. Now, I think we can open the thing for question answers. If you have questions, because I think the interaction is more important. When we can interact with each other, we will get to know more things about it. Yes?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, if anybody wants to ask questions, then you can ask. You can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Can I ask a question? I'm Chandrasekhar from Kerala.
Yes, sir, sure.
Yeah, see, do you have any specific suggestions for a particular subject? For example, I am teaching chemistry. And do you think one particular method will be more useful? Of course, I know that each student is different. But maybe I found your this session very informative. So I thought you may have something to say. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. See, as you also know, we all know that every child has a different capability and grasping possibility, right? So we can try 2 to 3 different types of modes in the class. Like you can try one as making the chart over it for the chemistry topic. Or then you can even have like, chemical equations, so that you give them like, a role play kind of a thing to make it more interesting for children. And children who are not interested also will come out with inputs over there. So you can, make role plays over there. Give one student, you are potassium, you are carbon, you are calcium, you are magnesium, like, and ask them to have dialogue delivery among themselves. In the beginning, yes, it might sound a little different because it's a science subject, but yes, to make class more interactive and interesting, we can come out with these kind of options. And you know what, children will understand it also and remember it for a longer period because they had done it in a fun way. They enjoyed the activity that was given to them, and they can do it in the same way. Then if one says, okay, I am sodium, then what sodium has, like, all the I'm not a science teacher, I should say. You can mention everything about the sodium over there. So that particular child will mention everything. Then there will be magnesium. He will say what he has to say. So you can portray it in that way. Try doing this. I'm sure the children will like it. You can put it in the PPT form also, flow charts also. That will really help them.
So one more related question, madam.
Yes.
See, nowadays we are resorting to remote teaching, That is why I asked all these questions. And we find that our students who are now undergoing this kind of teaching, remote teaching, they find it difficult to catch up as in the old days, regular classes. So there is something wrong with because we are using more and more PPTs and all for remote teaching, I think we are not able to reach the students in the proper way. That's why I'm asking.
Well, sir, from last 1.5 years, it's so something like that has happened. The pandemic that has come hasn't given us that platform to.
I request
Yes, sir.
all the educators kindly mute yourself after asking questions.
During the
Thank
pandemic, it has so happened that we did not get that personal touch with these students. We could not interact with them in a classroom, proper classroom, as we've been doing. So yes, it has been very difficult. There was no other source but the virtual platform only. So we had to do it through PPTs and do it in this way only with them, because that personal touch was not there. But yes, we can surely get back to our way of teaching, sitting in between them, explaining them, giving them notes to do, give them more and more of writing work. The more and more of writing skills they develop, reading skills they develop, it is going to help them in any way, in any subject for that matter.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. I hope I've answered your question to the mark that you wanted, sir.
Yeah, anyhow, you have been able to make some good explanations,
Thank you.
I'm an old guy, so maybe I cannot catch up with the younger generation. So remote learning, I think, is not the proper way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is technical. I'm not so up to date in technical matters. Anyhow, thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Okay.
Thank you,
Good
ma'am,
evening.
for the space. Good evening, ma'am, and thank
Good
you for the
evening.
session. Yeah, I'm Jyoti Bhati from Jodhpur, and right now I'm running my pre-primary school. I want to learn more about the learning styles, ma'am. The basically which I problem faced, that was मतलब ऑडियो एंड वीडियो वाले बच्चे तो इजीली बैठ जाते हैं, मतलब ऑडिटरी वाले, लर्निंग वाले एंड विजुअल वाले. द प्रॉब्लम इज बेसिकली कम विद द काइनेस्थेटिक स्टूडेंट्स, जो मैम वो बैठना ही नहीं चाहते. एक्चुअली उनका एज भी छोटा होता है, दे वांट टू प्ले. तो उनकी लर्निंग कैसे हम और नरिश कर सकते हैं, उनको किस तरीके, तो थोड़ा सा मुझे और ब्रीफ चाहिए काइनेस्थेटिक स्टूडेंट के लिए लर्निंग स्टाइल में.
मैम, किनेस्थेटिक स्टूडेंट्स के लिए सबसे बेस्ट है कि वो लोग ना एक्सप्लोरेशन में बिलीव करते हैं, राइट. जैसे मैंने बोला, टच फील करना उनके लिए वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो अगर जैसे आपके पास फ्लैश कार्ड्स है, आपके पास ब्लॉक्स है अलग अलग, तो आप वो चीजें उनको दो, उन चीजों के साथ उनको बिठाओ, तो वो धीरे धीरे क्या है, इंटरेस्ट लेंगे उन चीजों में, अपने आप को डेवलप करेंगे, उसके साथ अपने आप को एक्सप्लोर करेंगे. उनके साथ वो चीज बहुत जरूरी है. उनको देखिए आप कि किसमें उनको ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट आता है कि वो थोड़ी देर टिक कर बैठ सकते हैं. आपको उनके साथ ट्रायल एंड एरर करना पड़ेगा 3-4 अलग अलग चीजों का. जैसे स्टोरी टेलिंग है, आप उनके साथ स्टोरी टेलिंग कर सकते हो थोड़ी देर के लिए. फिर उनको ब्लॉक्स दे सकते हो, बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स दे सकते हो. बीच में उनको छोटी छोटी ब्रेक्स के बाद लेकर आइए. हो सकता है वो एक साथ नहीं बैठ पाते, आप देखिए कि कितनी देर तक वो कांस्टेंट बैठ सकते हैं. उसके बाद उनका जो माइंड है वो डाइवर्ट हो जाता है या एक डिस्ट्रैक्शन आता है. तो उसके बेसिस पे आप उनको जो है छोटे छोटे स्लॉट्स में बिठाइए शुरू में, और उसके बाद उसको लॉन्गर पीरियड्स के लिए लेके जाइए, स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली.
राइट मैम, थैंक यू फॉर योर सजेशन.
Okay. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Yeah, I'm Ansari. I'm from Kerala, but now I'm in Uttar Pradesh. Thank you, Harshvardhan sir, for such a good session. Ma'am, you told beginning itself, you told about what is that, gross motor and fine motor skills. Okay, I was into Montessori also. Now also we are trying for that. So in Montessori method, actually that is there, gross motor skill or fine motor, especially children between the age of 0 to 6 years. That skill is developed. Sir, I think you remember Harshvardhan sir, last time Vikas sir told 0 to 12 years, mind development will be for 65%, 0 to 12 years. But as per Montessori or child psychology, it is, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, it is 0 to 6 years. Whatever development of brain takes place during this age. So in Montessori method of education, definitely that is there. Just to improve that fine motor skills, they have many materials. Montessori method means based on materials only, self-correcting materials are there. So I think that will be far better, because to improve that fine motor skills.
See, fine motor skills, normally, what happens is when we're talking about small children, that, age group of 0 to 6, they come to a play group, they come into nursery level, right? So what happens over there is the best thing that we can give them is the way of practicing writing over there, we need to really.
No, that's what. Yeah. As per Montessori, if, for writing sake only, they are giving that fine motor skills, because
Yes.
0 to 3 years, they are not able to hold a pen or pencil or whatever it is. That grip won't be there. To develop that skill, we are giving certain materials which develop that skill faster than use of this one.
So we have lots of activities like, dance, we have games, we can involve them in all those activities.
All
Yes.
jumping and all other things come
Very
under
true.
cross
Yes.
motor skills.
Yes.
Really, it was very good session when you said compared this one sodium or something chemistry. You answered in a very simple way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Sonia ma'am, we have received a question from
Yes, sir.
Noor Haliwal ma'am, that she's asking, I have two twins, what should I do to make them sit, because they are very naughty and never sit, and still उसके बाद थोड़ा सा मैं कुछ देख नहीं पा रहा हूँ कि क्या है.
Okay, Noor ma'am is here with us right now. I would like her to on her video and come so that I could talk to her on it. Is she there with us? Okay, yes, ma'am. Good evening. Okay. Well, ma'am, when you're sitting with children, you need to understand, at times they're not in mood of studies. Okay. How old are your twins now? Ma'am, you're on mute. You're on mute. Unmute yourself, ma'am. Unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, they always like to play only, but they never want to sit. They never want to sit, ma'am.
What is the age group, ma'am? What is the age group?
4 years.
Okay, right. Ma'am, the best way to teach them is, I followed the same thing with my son. I will share the same thing with you. What you can do is, that they are very playful, they're very naughty, they don't stick to one place. They like roaming around. So what I used to do with my son is, I used to give him, when I used to buy vegetables and fruits and I used to keep the basket there, give him different bowls. I used to tell him, okay, start, Harshal, give me 5 tomatoes from here. So he used to do 1, 2, 3. So he used to search for those tomatoes and he used to give me 5 tomatoes.
When they are very naughty, these things they are doing as well, but they are not writing.
Ma'am, writing skills will come. You need to be patient with them.
They write. They only just to have fun. They just like to count stars also, ma'am. They are
Ma'am, give them coloring, give them drawing first, give them easy things to do, narrate them stories from the story, tell them, or tell them, okay, if you finish this part of the work, there'll be a reward for you, because normally children do it. Get some smileys for them, stars for them. There are different ways you can do it,
Ma'am, they are chocolate lover, and always I kept chocolate with me, but they always finish their chocolate before they are doing anything, and after that they just
no, tell them this chocolate will be given only when you finish. Give a race among the two. Let me see who comes first, who finishes his work first. They'll start writing. Try different things, because then such we have to be very, very fragile with them. We cannot, think that they will understand things at the very first time. We have to give them a span of time, make them comfortable, and accordingly gel with them. So try all these things. Try different flashcards with them, blocks, and make them write through those. So they will surely inculcate these habits, ma'am.
Actually, ma'am, they are very good speaker, I can say, and they know lots of poems stories also. But I can't manage them how to make them sit comfortably for my own purpose. I can say, ki, how can I do rest?
They
Always
will
I'm
settle
changing
down,
them.
ma'am.
No, no,
They
no,
are
ma'am.
very small, and it's good to be hyperactive at this age because that proves that they are very active. Children sitting very quietly without doing anything is a worry for a parent. I think
Yeah.
give them some space; they will automatically subtile their things, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. I will try. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, all the educators. If anyone wants to ask any question, then he or she can unmute themselves and ask their questions.
Hello everyone, my name is Hetal Chaudhary. I am from Kolhapur and I am a kindergarten teacher. So as well I said that ma'am was asking that question, I would like to add that every human has a tendency to like something, to hate something. So as a mother, you should observe your child throughout the day that what he is like and what he doesn't like, what is their tendency. You have to find out and you have to use your brain and give them that kind of activity so which he can enjoy and they never think like that my mom is teaching something to us.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you,
So,
ma'am.
so find that weakness of them, so that will be no, that gives you a very easy concept to teach your child and you can also enjoy with them. Don't
That is the
bother
reason
yourself
I
that
said.
I would teach something. No, teachers is not like a teaching for kindergarten. Teachers is just playing, learning with them, and give them that kind of object they will enjoy.
Thank you,
That's
ma'am.
my
Yeah.
point of view. Sorry to disturb you, but I would like to share this knowledge. I think I can, so that's why.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for adding your expertise. Well, that is why,
Yeah.
ma'am, I shared my son's example because he never felt that I was educating him. It was like he's playing with me and spending time with me, so it was very convenient for me also. He was learning it at the same time. I was happy my mission is accomplished. I had to teach him. I taught him also.
Yes,
So he
yes.
went through everything without knowing that he really studied actually.
And also I observe sometimes now for the pre-primary children also, parents are so much concerned my child has to learn these things, in proper time. It's not I think till the 6 or 5 age, let them enjoy their childhood too. Let them
Man,
enjoy,
they
they will
need
learn
some
whatever
space
they
to
will learn.
make. They need a comfort zone. When they
Yes,
settle down, no, they'll automatically start doing it.
yes, yes.
Slowly and gradually they will pick it up.
Sometimes we are a parent, we are in a very pressure. My child has to do something within this time limit. There is no time limit. Some children will learn in a few times. Some will take some more times. Then it's okay. Nothing to worry.
There was a question, I think, in the chat box for some attention seekers through the online method of learning, right? Okay. See, when you are teaching students with online, best way to involve them is assign each one a little work. When you give them, they don't have time to move out from there. They are totally attentive in the class. Give them that work, divide the chapter in 6 to 7 parts, one topic, and tell each child, ki beta, you make 4 to 5 slides on this particular topic. Tomorrow you are going to take this. Then give next part to the other child. They all are involved in it. They don't have time to do it because when they are presenting the screen, they would not like anybody to disturb also, right? So they will follow the same thing with us also. It will take 1 or 2 classes for them to understand this, but yes, they will understand. And slowly, they'll all be in the class atmosphere where nobody will be disturbing them. Divide the work to them, and this will help them to inculcate the learning of the topic also. So that will be more important.
Ma'am, can I say something? Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Yes, ma'am, please.
This is Shweta Kumar. I'm an EVS and science teacher along with a learning consultancy. So, I had a question like you were saying about the twins. In twins, I have faced most of the time the problem the parents compare a lot. between them. But usually, how much ever twins I have handled, I have seen one is always much intelligent than the other. So it gets very difficult to make the parent understand that the IQ level and all may be different, though they are twins, but and the age difference between them is not much, only a gap of few minutes. But parents are not ready to accept. Then one is able to do so. Why not other? So there the problem arises. And if I try to motivate also, ki no, the other one can go for some other subject, and the previous one who is brilliant in science can opt for it, but the parents is मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम वेरी ऑथोरिटेटिव एंड कि नहीं नहीं अगर पहला कर रहा है तो दूसरे को भी वही करना है, तो वहां पे डिफिकल्टी आती है मैम।
एक्चुअली मैम ये प्रॉब्लम सिर्फ ट्विंस के साथ नहीं है, ये प्रॉब्लम हर घर में सिबलिंग्स के साथ है। जो जहां पर भी सिबलिंग्स है ना, कोई भी दोनों बच्चे एक जैसे नहीं होते किसी भी पेरेंट के लिए, सिर्फ ट्विंस नहीं, कहीं पर भी। इवन इन माय केस आई हैव 2 kids and both are totally different from each other. So it is like, they have their unique. That is why we say the child is unique. They have their own uniqueness. They understand it in different ways. They have their own methods and ways of following things. So we cannot compare them at all. And it is not good to compare two children, because if one is good in one particular thing, the other one will be good with the other thing. They have their own expertise. They have their own strengths and strong things. They might be having different dominance of multiple intelligences. They might be having different ways of learning and grasping. So it is never good to compare children. And I very strongly say that children should not be compared, because that demotivates children also, and especially if the first child is very good with academic and everything, you cannot compare that to the second, because the second one has his own strengths. He must be good with something else which the first one is not good at. So at least see those strong points in the child, understand those strengths, motivate him with that positive attitude instead of looking out for something negative and giving a comparison. Show the positive sides and compare them. That is more important for us. And I think this is more important for us as teachers and for the parents to understand it, because then when the child is not able to perform, we say, isko kuch aata nahi hai, ye to kuch bhi nahi kar sakta hai life mein. But have you ever thought the way of words you use, the way of approach you give to a child, whether it really hits that child, how he feels inside being compared for everything? It is very bad. So I think first thing is we should cut down this comparison between children. No two siblings should be compared. No two class students should be compared. No two friends. There should be no comparison at all. Everybody is good and strong in his own or her way. I think this is the best thing that I can understand as a psychologist, as a child counselor.
Very true, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your guidance. Because
Thank
in
you,
one
ma'am.
case, I was very much means I got very depressed with that parent only. I tried a lot to convince, but that lady was actually, she is a corporate. She works at corporate level, and she has a very
Okay.
little time for the kids. So entire thing goes on the school or the teacher only. So that way, though, I was not very much able to convince her. But now, though, they are grown up kids. Now they are doing their own way, because slowly, slowly she understood. But in case of a kid, just like some ma'am, Noor ma'am had told, for small kids, way you have told, that I have applied and really worked out very well. He gives something to keep them busy. Like if
Yes.
I'm giving some extra work to the previous one who is not very good in study, he feels proud in that part only कि मेरे को तो मैम ने काम दिया ना, जबकि वो दूसरा तो इतना अच्छा पढ़ रहा था, पर मैम ने मुझे प्रेज किया और मुझे ही काम
Yes.
दिया, तो that works out quite well. So that guidance is very much required, and thanks a lot for such a nice session, ma'am. We will be
Thank you,
really
ma'am.
benefited in our work, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
It's a pleasure, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you all with me today.
Ma'am, I want to ask one more question
Yes.
regarding my child. He's
Yeah,
very
please.
he's very intrapersonal type, introvert type personality. तो
Okay.
what we मतलब उसको extrovert थोड़ा बनाने के लिए क्या कर सकते हैं? As of now, he's completed his 8th class 8th, but he is not
Okay.
confident with talking or मतलब